All right, Aggs. Tough loss this weekend to Arkansas. Hats off to them. They played really well. That's a good team, and I stress team. I think that kind of says a lot about what we're struggling with. Just in the with the unity that they play with, that team's very gelled together. They really seem to feed off each other, know what each other are going to do. Some things that we seem to need to grow in. Quick, thoughts off the top of my head before we kind of get into looking at the film and grading the game. We knew that they were experienced. They looked like they were very experienced. A lot of the plays that I saw looked like they knew what we were running in effect. And that is most attributable to experience, and we lack that right now in a lot of areas. So it looked like we were late on the eight ball on quite a few plays. But with that being said, there's a lot of good takeaways from this game for the Aggs. I cannot express any more about how good it is to see how this team plays, in the sense that they don't give up. They play hard the whole game through. Towards the end, I thought maybe they were going to give up one more score, that garbage time score. They didn't. Does that mean a whole lot in the grand scheme? Maybe, because I don't want a team that quits. I'm okay with losing. I'd rather not. But I certainly don't want to lose and then see a poor effort and give up. That's not going to work for me. That's whenever I get a little down. But Jimbo has that effect on his teams, and he's showed it through and through so far. His teams don't quit, and they play hard. So I'm very excited to see that stayed true to this game. I'll be interested to see how they respond against Mississippi State. I thought our team played better as the game went on, but that's also kind of a drawback as well, right? Because we've been starting slow. Defense even started slow, but when they buckle down, they are a strength. The offense got rolling in the second half a little bit better. Of course, we still have those hang-ups, those plays, those missed blocks, missed assignments, one here, penalty there, that are stalling out drives. They're failing to, follow through and execute so that we can actually end up getting scores, whether it be a field goal at this point, which would be much needed and much less a touchdown. So defense is definitely our strong suit. I think we can win any game. We can win any game. Our own strength in the sense of what we can do is also our biggest weakness, and that's our potential. Jimbo talks about it all the time. We have plenty of potential. But potential is just unrealized gains, basically, at this point. And you're all potential until you go out and do. Plain and simple. So we have to learn to go out and do. We can't rest on what we can be. We have to go out and do. That's my big takeaway for how we get better from this week. Tell me in the comments what you think. Where do you think we should grow? Where do you want to see addressed first? What's our biggest strength right now? And what's our biggest weakness? What are we going to have to lean on, in your opinion, to go out and beat Mississippi State? It's a team that's beatable, and we're going to look at some of that in the preview coming up later tonight. But if we're going to do that, we have to make sure we don't beat ourselves. Been doing a lot of thinking about that over the last few days about how we are up against another team. But before we can go out and beat that other team, we've got to beat ourselves. And what I mean by that is we're up against ourselves. We're up against our potential. We've got to defeat our potential, and you defeat your potential by doing. And that's essentially what we're trying to do here. It's easier to do with the more experience you've had. And we've got a mix of that, and we're going to have to work through that. So let's grade this game. Let's look at some of the film, some of the stuff that we did good, and some of the stuff that we need to grow on. And that'll give us a good idea about how each position group performed overall. and then we'll take that and reflect on it and get a preview for Mississippi State. All right, the first play I want to start off with is this play to Spiller, but watch their linebackers. This is basically going to be a pass, right? You don't see them play the run at all. They're keying in on the two running backs coming around, and they break on it quick. And they do this all game. I don't think I really noticed anything that they missed full on, whether it be starting off with run defense or pass defense. Definitely a strong suit for Arkansas. Okay, you're going to see it again right here. Watch. We're running the ball. Going to give it to Spiller, and they just crash the line. They read it very quickly, and it puts them in position to make a play near the line of scrimmage. Plain and simple. All right, and a third time. Watch their middle linebacker there. He's not even going to flinch on this one. We're going to pass. He's not even going to flinch up one step to act like it's going to play a run. And of course, it's 3rd and 10. I wouldn't expect him to. Calzada in the pocket. Pretty good pocket. Pretty clean. He gets a little flustered. I guess I kind of understand. I mean, he didn't really have anybody to throw to, I suppose. It's hard to see downfield, but it seemed like he left just a bit early. Didn't seem like he was all that comfortable. Okay, one of the things we did on defense here is we stunted right in the middle. Right guard pulls underneath Peavy, and so we give up that area right there, which is right where they're going at. So we automatically start behind the 8-ball there, giving up a little bit of ground. Hansford gets caught up on the inside and can't get out, and so it makes for a big play. Good play by us, good call. Johnson plays down on this really well. He goes after the running back just as he should be, slips though. O'Neal crashes. But he turns it back the other direction. Gets a block from Jefferson. That guy's doing the most at this point, honestly. Good effort by him, and they turn it into a big game. What can you say? All right, we're playing some zone here. Let's look on the top of the screen up by George. Their wide receivers are going to cross over. George is going to take the inside guy. You really can't tell quite right there. But as the other guy goes outside, George is supposed to turn back in. Made a little bit of a bobble move, and so he found himself coming back to the ball on this one. I think he got hurt on this play. And to me, he's just been better at man-on-man all year. And here we are back on offense. Hand off to Spiller, and we just kind of missed a bit of a block right there in the middle, and gives him the opportunity to make a tackle for no gain. All right, so kind of big pet peeve here with this one. This is the kind of play we're going to have to clean up between Watermeyer and Ananias over here on the top slot and tight end. They're going to block this guy, rather not block, and they just completely whiff. I mean, it puts a chain in a bad spot, and we take a huge loss here. So in a sense, this is a good play on both sides of the ball here. We get pretty good pressure. I think it's a good call. You see a stun on the bottom side. Peavy comes around and gets them mixed up. It works well. I mean, we're not there as early as we maybe need to be to prevent something like this, but Jefferson throws down the field. He's got the guy open. Let me show you another side of this and see what you think. Not really much said in the game about this, but was this a push-off? I mean, you do have an arm extended here. It looks like he gets propelled forward right there. It's hard to say. Maybe we just should have put ourselves in better position, right? But either way, they made the play and got the 6, so that's how it goes. You'll notice again, here we're on 3rd and 6, of course, kind of a predictable down. They don't bite for anything on it being a run play or anything, but they're right in. He gets pressure almost all day, and they get the 3-man rush going in our face a lot of the day. Made it very difficult because they were dropping 8. It's hard to get a guy open under those conditions. I mean, it's hard to say what to do better on this one. This is a kind of a trick play. They're going to throw it over here to the sideline, and they're going to throw it up the field, right? You don't see any linemen going down the field, so it's likely to be a pass play still. I don't know how much you want to hold a DB accountable for keying in on that so that he knows, hey, I'm still playing the pass here, not the run, but it is what it is. It's a good game plan by Arkansas here. Their running back comes back over. There's 7 on the bottom down here. Their slot receiver, he's going to kind of get in Cooper's way just so he can't quite go straight line towards their running back for this pass play. Their linebackers were really good about reacting to these pass plays and getting over to these balls very quickly and identifying what was happening. We struggled on that just a little bit more than they did, and it made a difference, especially when you're, giving pushes and shoves like that instead of wrapping up and tackling. Just can't have that. All right, 2nd and 25. We got ourselves into a predictable down, likely to throw. Again, running backs don't even make one bit of a move like it's going to be any type of run play. So they drop back immediately. Again, they're dropping 8, rushing 3. We basically just don't have anybody open. At least all the windows were closed, right? So we did have that one that did have something available, but they closed that window down and blocked that pass. Okay, bad snap here, so it led to just a little bit of an issue. 42 just really gets put on roller skates there, and that's something that causes a huge loss for us. A 3-man rush again. You see their linebacker going over to take Spiller immediately. In comes around, comes back down. Aggie tries to get back onto him, but that guy was ruthless all game. 55 was a beast. Thinking that guy's going to be playing at the next level with that kind of effort. All right, so we got a bit of an RPO here going on, right? So our linebacker's not going to press the line of scrimmage on this one. Watch. We do have one come up, but the middle linebacker stays put, right? So he stays about 5 deep the entire time. So it allows the offensive lineman to engage him down the field. And we just don't have that many up on the line whenever this run takes place. So it allows them a small advantage. And they do take advantage of it, and they turn it into something big. And that was something that we might have been lacking, I think, for most of the game. And this is really a good play by both teams here. We get decent pressure. Again, they get it out early enough to get the ball where it needs to be. Our cornerback, I think it's Jones, is on the guy. It's just a good throw and catch by them. It's put in a place where we really can't quite get to it. And hats off to them for making the play. And again, this is just another example of them making a play. It's not bad coverage by us. It's not a bad pass rush by us. We didn't miss an assignment. We had it pretty dialed in. I mean, it was 3rd and 22. Throws one over the linebackers. Of course, it doesn't get the first down, but it certainly makes the field goal much easier. So it feels like it's been a lot of bad, but let's show a little good. 4th and 1 here. Great effort right in the middle to get this stuff, get some penetration, get it down to his knees and stop him dead in his tracks. Hold him there and get the turnover. I think this was a good play call. Their linebackers knew that we were going to be passing again. The Will linebacker, though, he waited to react until he saw the ball coming. It looked like our 2 linemen were going to whiff on this. Either way, it's like they didn't quite know who they were going to have to take once his ball was caught. So when you make those middle mistakes, and you'll see another one here just like that, it's going to make things difficult for your team. This needed to be a block right there with Anias. He needed to be on the outside shoulder, and he didn't. He let that guy get around him, and it allows them to get a huge loss again. What can I say? And Calzada had a rough day. He looked like he was uncomfortable all day. 55 gets another great rush here on the end there. Provides a little bit of pressure. Doesn't really get home. We do a decent effort on him. Aggie's kind of trying to help out, and Foster as well. And they just continue to bring consistent pressure, and it results in the loss. All right, so we have here more of a straight handoff here. It doesn't look like an RPO to me. I just want to highlight that to keep that in your memory bank. But they read it, and they crash on it, get the tackle for loss. And it looks like we're reading right there what we're going to do. We give it to Spiller. We do have a small hole there, and he does his thing. Spiller doing Spiller things, and he likes to break those. Now that he's got the open field, he tears off and runs. It was the biggest highlight of the game for us, biggest bright spot. Great to see him get one in such a fine fashion. Would have loved to have had a couple more. All right, you see them kind of, this is what their RPO looks like. So he pulls and then he runs. Tight end gets a bit of a block on our guy. They turn that into about, we're going to end up with 15 here. And so their RPO is looking a little bit different than ours is at this point. All right, I'll leave this one here as a prime example of the uncomfortableness that Calzada had all day. You're going to see it's a pretty decent pocket. It's 1st and 15. We're likely passing. They play it as such. Good protection. I'm not sure why he's acting uncomfortable. I mean, maybe it's 55 kind of getting in his head. He has been coming all day, but it ultimately results in a self-inflicted wound. Pretty good route concept here. A chain kind of comes open at the bottom, but probably because Calzada's looking down the right side. Watermeyer in the middle goes underneath, but the lane's clogged and it's just not an easy throw. So right here we have them reading us pretty well for a pass on 1st and 10. So they had us coming in and going. This is the one off of Foster's helmet, tipped around and caught for an interception. Even if we got it to Spiller, we probably weren't going to get much. Right here we have what we need called, in my opinion. We just looked like we both keyed on the quarterback there, and we didn't crash down at least one of them onto the running back, or we probably would have had that stopped for no gain. So little things, small details, those are the things we got to clean up coming into next week with Mississippi State. So in my opinion, I think on this place it's bad recognition on the bottom side of the screen here. We're playing a zone, and this is going to be thrown down here to the bottom of the screen. We're just not close enough to respond. Once the player came into the zone, we didn't play them like it was man coverage. We continued to cover ground instead of where the pass might go. So decent effort here. If this was run a little bit differently, this could be a great play. But again, we just kind of missed where the block needed to be set. And really just the final nail in the coffin right here. 55 is going to get pressure deep and wide. We're going to hold him, and he's still going to get through. So we had some really good efforts on him throughout the night, but he got us on a lot. All right, so tell me in the comments what you have graded for the positions. Here's mine. Quarterback, Calzada just looked too fish out of water for a lot of the game. And so I thought that was a C- performance. Running backs, probably the strongest group that we had in the whole game besides special teams. So I graded them B+, particularly with Spiller's long run, but we need a little bit more maybe consistency from that, but not necessarily from the running backs, just from the running game. Wide receivers, I couldn't go any higher than a C+. There's just too many drops, too many missed blocks. They've got to be better in this area for us to really have success. Special team, a lot of great kicks from Nick. So I gave this an A-. The return game and the punt return game just wasn't there like it was before, so I didn't want to go any higher than that. Offensive line, I struggle with this one between it being like a C and a B-. I went with a B-. Just too many errors for us to really get up into a B, but they had some good moments. Defensive line, I do think, is an A. Not an A+ this time, though, but still not an A-. It's a very solid group. I misspoke about running backs earlier. This is obviously our best position group. At linebackers, C+. They've got to be better at reacting, recognizing what the play is that's coming at them, or at least what type of play, so they can get themselves in position, and then getting to the play and being in position to make the tackle. That's just something that's got to be better, and I just couldn't grade that any better than a C+ currently. DBs, we had the long bomb that we gave up, a lot of number of easy throws that we gave to Jefferson. I think we can play much better there, and I want this grade to be kind of that signal that their play needs to be better and that they should be playing better, they can play better. So overall, I'll give the offense a C+. I mean, the lone standout is the running backs in that group with a B+, but with the C- in there, I think a C+ grade is about as high as I can go. I don't see it being a B effort. I mean, we only scored 10 points, so let me know if you disagree or agree with that. What about defense as well? We gave up quite a few big runs, and of course the big play in the secondary, so B+ is about as good as I can do. I think that one actually may be just a little on the high side. What do you think? Maybe B- there. I definitely can't see it being at an A, so that's as good as I could do. But let me know what y'all have Tell me what you think these should be and why. And this will help us get a grip on what just happened. That way we can look forward to Mississippi State coming up. So it's got to be said, and I want to make it very clear, none of these coaches, none of these players, none of them are trying to make mistakes. That's not what they're doing. We point out the mistakes so that we can better understand them and grow from them and get better. That's the whole point. It's not to lay blame. I don't need to blame Coach Fisher on play calling. I may have think that there could be some better calls. It's easy for me to say that in hindsight. So I'm not trying to armchair quarterback this in that way. Same thing with these players. These players are not trying to make mistakes. They are young, and some are veterans and still made mistakes. But we still have to point them out so that we know where they are. We always have blind spots, and we need to recognize that. But we need to give sort of that gracious intent to this all and not lay blame. So I don't blame the coaches for anything. It's the way it turned out. And we see what we need to do to get better. So having looked at this, let's take a look at Mississippi State coming up in the next video. And let's see what we got to do so that we can go get to 4-1. And who knows where we go from there.